Okay, we're in. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. We are all excited to be talking about Project High Mary, the masterpiece, and we are joined by two awesome YouTubers. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Maybe we'll start top right corner. Do you want to go, Wilson?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my channel's Use of Skills on YouTube and the TikToks for the children. Basically, I review movies that I watch, try to make it, within 5 minutes, no spoilers. So if you're on your way to the theater or thinking about what to watch at the theater, you can watch my channel and decide what to watch or skip. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Go ahead, T.
All right. And my name is T from the Have You Seen That with T YouTube channel, where I do pretty much what Wilson does, kind of review the latest movies and inform you whether you should spend your hard-earned money to go see, a fun movie or stay at home and watch something on YouTube.
Okay, well, let's get into it. As we said, we're here to talk about Project Hail Mary. We've all seen it. Let's go around the table, maybe initial thoughts and a 1 minute review of the movie. You'll go the same order again. We'll continue that throughout.
All right. For me, it was better than I expected, honestly. I love The Martian. That's the only other reference point that I had for this kind of movie, and I don't know what else to say. They knocked it out of the park. Everything. If I have any critiques of the movie, it's very minimal and doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the actual film. That's the most I can say.
When you review movies, do you have a particular scoring system, or if not, what would you give this out of like 5 or 10?
I would definitely give this a 5 out of 5. I have a 5-point scoring system. It would be the writing, the directing. I put a lot of it under the same thing. So the cinematography and the CGI and like the visuals is all under the same thing. The writing, as far as the plot, characters, the dialogue, all under the same thing. The soundtrack, as far as the cinematic score, as well as the songs that might have played throughout, I put it all under the same thing. And then just my overall enjoyment of it. And I nowhere did it falter, in my opinion.
Okay, T.
So this was my most anticipated movie of 2026. We got Doom 3, we got Doomsday, all of these big movies, but this one kind of stuck with me because I love sci-fi epics. I love Interstellar, I love The Martian, like all of these outer space type movies, other than Moonfall, which was terrible. But I went into this with high expectations, and somehow this movie overreached my expectations. It surpassed my expectations. It was really good. It was really fun. For some reason, people think Ryan Gosling's not a good actor. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that groundswell of Ryan Gosling's not like a leading man. I totally disagree. I thought he was fantastic. The movie was fun. It was a great story. I felt good leaving the theater, and it just was a good time.
Jacob?
This movie brought back the feel of Interstellar and the Batman for me. And what I mean by that is, for me, the Batman wasn't just a superhero movie. It brought in things like Seven, and it was a movie that if you weren't a superhero fan, you could still appreciate it. What this movie did that, I think if you weren't a sci-fi fan, you could just enjoy the human aspect of him being on a mission and having to deal with things that he wasn't expecting on doing. And I think that's the charm of this movie has. And it's funny in a better way than most comedies, what I was not expecting. And it's just a groundbreaking movie that I haven't felt for a long time. So some nitpicks, that's the only thing. And when you look for nitpicks, I think that shows how good a movie is.
I forgot to ask T, what would you give it as a score?
I'm saying 5 out of 5. 5 stars.
Thank you.
It's
5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, very similar to what everyone else said. I think the movie was kind of a good mix of science that was plausible and a lot of, unrealistic things. So it kind of brought in that epicness, but also things that, when you watched it, even though it probably wouldn't happen, you still go, there's some science behind it. There's some truth. So then I guess if you're really into that, you found it fun. If you weren't, it wasn't like straight over your head. Like you didn't have to be a science buff to get it. But if you did get it, then it would have been more enjoyable. And it was also kind of funny. And I think the Ryan Gosling effect also brings in a different audience. So, particularly like female demographics that may have zero interest in this type of movie will go see it because of him. So it kind of brought in, your science fiction fans, people that are generally interested in science, females, and then those like us that are generally just film buffs because it's going to be epic. So it kind of was a good mix to attract lots and lots of people. So yeah, for me, I don't really give anything a 5 out of 5, so I give it 4.5 out of 5. But it is my highest rated movie of the year by a long shot. Like not like Daylight second so far.
sure.
I'm trying to find our rating system because I thought it might be fun. So we have a rating system where there's 10 categories and you can get a score out of 10. Obviously, the highest score is 100, and that's kind of our like rating, like a hot Rotten Tomatoes rating. And I thought it would have been fun to go through it with you guys, but I can't seem to find it on the computer, so I'm going to look, but might get to it later. Wilson, you already mentioned that you said it blew your mind in terms of expectations. You didn't expect it to be higher. I didn't expect it to be so good. What is everyone else's thoughts on that? Like what? Personally, I didn't know. I hoped it was going to be epic, but the trailers kind of misled me. One made it seem like it was going to be funny. One made it seem like it was going to be this epic, serious science movie. Another one kind of showed a mixture of the two. And I didn't know what to expect. And I thought, this might be a huge flop. But so I was reserved in my expectations. So it absolutely blew it out of the water. What were your thoughts, Jake?
I actually didn't watch any of the trailers going into it. So my expectations were, I hope it's as good as, I guess, The Martian. That was kind of my ballpark. And then when I came out, I'm like, it's better than The Martian. It's definitely the best movie of the year so far. And to me, it's next to Interstellar. I think Interstellar might be slightly better, but I definitely left like engaged, and I think this movie is very groundbreaking for people that enjoy fun movies.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit sad the fact that I have so little faith in movies, like the amount of times I've been disappointed thinking something's going to be good and isn't, that I actually I assumed this movie was going to be bad, which made it seem better. Going back to the order we're going, what was your thoughts, Wilson?
No, I feel exactly everything you said. Exactly. Jacob, I don't know how you got away with not seeing a single trailer, because it was everywhere for me. Everywhere I saw a trailer, and I'm like, oh man, I got more hype. But it was like, I thought the same thing, that I was like, it looks like it looks too good, but also they might mess it up by being too serious, because my issue with The Martian was a lot of it was Matt Damon by himself, and Matt Damon, great actor and great movie, but scenes with him by himself versus scenes with Ryan Gosling by himself are like in two different leagues. And this movie just like I said, it shattered my expectations, because I was expecting Ryan Gosling to be a little bit more serious and a little bit maybe a bit boring of him just, but even him just meandering around the ship and exploring things and relearning things, all of that. And then the flashbacks in between, the flashback sequences of, all this stuff. It was just everything just done so well that I'm like, again, I went in thinking it's not going to be so good. So I feel like that's why I got overhyped by the quality of how good it was, that I'm like, damn, this completely shattered my expectations. But I've watched it I think twice now, so I feel like even on the second go around, it's still enjoyable, it's still fun, and like Interstellar, it's one of those movies I'm probably going to revisit several times. And I love sci-fi, you know, and a fun sci-fi movie to me that is more recent is like Alien Romulus, but that's not as accessible. Right, but it's not as accessible as I feel this one is. So that's when you kept saying groundbreaking, Jacob. I feel like it is that. I could show this to my kids and they still would enjoy it, even though it's not an animated film, or because it has like the animated film quality, but it's, you know, live action. So, but I don't know if that makes sense. But that's basically what I feel about this movie. That really, like, it's snuck in there. All the little things too, like the like I felt for a rock. You know, like I was crying over a rock. How they did that? How did they do that to me?
And T?
Pretty much the same with the different tones of the trailers. I wanted a serious movie because The Martian, I really enjoyed The Martian. And I think to me, you have, in order to be a big movie star, you have to do a solo movie. You know, Will Smith did one, Tom Hanks did, you know, Castaway, Matt Damon, The Martian, Denzel Washington, Hurricane. Like he spent most of that movie in solitary confinement. Like in order to kind of make your mark, you have to do that. You know, I'm alone against the world, like carrying the movie by yourself. And Ryan Gosling killed it. As far as up until the point where I was watching trailers, I was excited. Then as the trailers came, I was like, oh man, what if this is bad? I'm gonna be real, like it would have disappointed me so much if it was bad because I had such high expectations. So I tempered them and I started watching the movie. And this movie is so good because there are two things about me that I don't like. And this is gonna might infuriate some people. I'm not a big fan of dogs. Like I'm not like I have a cat, and the cat just kind of does his thing. I do my thing, you know. And I'm not a fan of pointless kid-like tie-ins like Baby Yoda. I hate Baby Yoda. Like all of the little cute furry things. And Rocky was all of those things. Like he was like a very animal-like, very dog-like. At the same time, he's the cute thing that you could sell toy. Like my son loves rocks. My son will go outside and pick up rocks, and we brought rocks from my old house to my new house because he wanted to have rocks to like from his memory or from his past to bring to the new house. That's how much my kid loves rocks. Just one of his things, right? He collects rocks. So everything about that I should have not liked. But at the same time, I'm in tears as we're pulling for a rock, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, come on, man! Like you got to make it. Like this rock has to make it. And that shows how well the movie was made. That shows how well they wrote the characters to pull us in, and that just shows how well Ryan Gosling. I didn't know everything was practical as well. That was a big. Like knowing that after the fact, it was like, oh man, that's really cool. Like everything, there was no green screen, there was no CGI. It wasn't a CGI rock. Like he was acting against puppeteers, and that's, you know, harkening back to the older days, past days of the Muppets, Jim Henson and stuff like that. And that makes the movie even cooler to me. Like knowing that fact afterwards. So yeah, I went in with really high expectations, and like I said before, it met those and then exceeded those expectations, by a lot.
Yeah, I can relate with what you're saying about the animal list, like having something gimmicky. Like Jacob and I talk about this a bit. Like I feel that, the last Superman movie, even though I liked it and Jacob didn't, I thought that Crypto was gimmicky. Like that Crypto was added to attract people. And that to me, I think was one of the criticisms I had of the movie. Like I was excited when Crypto was in it, but again, it's kind of a cheap way to get fans. It's the same you mentioned, like I haven't seen The Mandalorian, but the hype around the Baby Yoda was kind of, I think that just attracted people because like, oh, it's this cute thing. And it's like trickery. Like I think they found that it worked with Groot. Even though I like Groot as a character, the whole Groot was that, the comic relief animal creature thing that kind of just brings you into a movie. And yeah, so I worry that in a sci-fi movie that's you can't have gimmicky things inside a movie that's meant to be serious. But the movie was, weirdly somehow a good mix of the two. That I don't know why I didn't expect that, because Ryan Gosling somehow makes
good movies.
Well, I mean, even he does make good movies, but he can make a pretty like average movie fun because you like him as a character. I think Glenn Powell has the same thing. Like Glenn Powell's in a lot of average movies, but he's just kind of fun, and you're like, oh, I'll go see it because you know what to expect. It's going to be kind of quirky, and Ryan Gosling's the same. He's just like charismatic, quirky. Like I think of a movie it brought out. It was the Stuntman movie. What was it called? Was it called
The Fall Guy?
The Fall Guy. Like that movie, I really liked it the first time. Watching it back, I'm like, this is pretty average. Like it's not rewatchable. But the first time, because of Ryan Gosling being so quirky, it made it a good movie. Like I walked out and went, wow, that was cool. I had a lot of fun. And even if there was stupid bits in it, you go, yeah, but geez, Ryan Gosling's a good actor. Like, geez, he's fun. And
that was my favorite movie of that year. Whatever year it came out, that was my favorite movie because it was just fun. It was silly. It was. I love that movie.
I liked everything about it, but when I watched it a second time, I was just like, oh yeah, I don't think I like it that much.
You knew what was coming.
Yeah, maybe that was it, because the comic relief and the gags are like, when you knew they were coming, it didn't hit the same. But I would still recommend it to anyone that hasn't seen it. I just don't know if it has rewatchability.
I have a question for you, T, to do with the whole rock situation, with the whole using the gimmick. Would you say Project Hail Mary did it in a more story-driven way, and that's why you preferred it to other things? Or was it because they gave The Rock like personality and backstory? Why would you say you preferred it more in Project Hail Mary compared to other things?
That's a great question. I think it's because he was trying to do the exact same thing that Ryan Gosling was doing. That they were going towards the same goal. It wasn't just like a child, right? It had childlike qualities. It wasn't just in the way and just doing cute things the entire time. Like it was actively trying to figure out how to save its planet. Like it gave it purpose. They gave it purpose, and it wasn't just a cute thing that was just.
It wasn't like the hopeless animal. It was actually the more like smarter of the two characters. He's actually like the savior of Ryan Gosling opposed to being saved.
Correct. They gave it intelligence. It wasn't just cute, but it didn't do just like silly things just for a cheap laugh. Like it was moving the story forward, and like they grew this bond. Like they're watching Rocky, and like it was just really cool. It was cool seeing something like where it doesn't have to be romanticized. Like Ryan Gosling didn't meet a hot girl to save the universe. Like he met something that should not have worked, but they formed a bond, and it through science, through mathematics or however they did it. They just grew this true kinship, and his character was so lonely. He needed that, right? He needed something, especially once we get to the reveal at the end that they drugged him and sent him out tickets as well. It was like, damn, that's cold. Like that is a terrible thing to do to a human. But
I also feel like that's why Rocky works, because he brought out the Ryan Gosling in the movie. He's a scientist. He's a smart guy. He's very capable, but he doesn't believe in his own abilities. And I feel like Rocky was just like, you did this. Like, you know what I mean? Like you were able to communicate with me, a rock from another planet. Like you can do this, So I felt like that was also, not only did he save him like literally in the movie, but also like his mind, his purpose. Because even at the end when he's in the planet and he's teaching all the rocks, in the rock planet, I'm like, I at first I didn't like the ending, and then I'm like, no, I respect it, because what's he gonna do? Go back to Earth and be mad? You know what I mean? Like I would be pissed off. Like, you guys drugged me and sent me to space.
Yeah, I've got a few
people who sent me were died.
There's a few things I want to ask you guys, and I want to talk about with Ryan Gosling's character, but we'll talk about it a bit later. But it's more along those ideas of they didn't go off the stereotypical thing of, he's got someone waiting for him at home and he needs to get back to a loved one. Like I don't even know if you'd say there was a love interest between him and
kind
the female, like kind of, but like it wasn't like a dominating factor, or the fact that he isn't that, you know, the person that's like, okay, I know I'm going to die, but I'm going to do it for the greater good. He didn't want to partake in the mission.
No.
He never wanted to be the hero. So I'm glad that it did something different, that, you know, he became a hero by convenience, really. He didn't want to be, but he had no other option in the end, which I think is quite cool. But we'll talk about it more with Ryan Gosling later. But anyone read the book?
No, I just bought the book.
Man, I bought the book 3 weeks before the movies came out, and I was like, I'm gonna read this. And my wife started reading the book. She like, this is boring. I was like, man. She did not enjoy the book as much. Like, she's the only person that I've heard who's read the book that didn't enjoy it. She's not really a sci-fi person though. And I started it. Like, I think I read the first chapter, and it wasn't because it was boring. It was just because of time. Like, I started doing other things, and I just never got back to it.
Well, that's good, because it kind of leads into the question: does seeing the movie make you want to read the book?
Definitely.
No.
For me, it does. For me, it does.
I've just heard a lot of people say that the movie missed out on a lot of the sciencey parts of the book, and it's like that doesn't actually intrigue me. I enjoy more of the personable parts of the movie, like that they cut out a lot of the tech jargon. I don't need to read that. I don't.
I always feel that once you've seen something you like a good movie, then I think going and reading the book to make what's the point of it? Are you trying to prove that the movie's bad then? Like, if someone goes, oh, the movie missed out on things, are you trying to read the book to go, oh, actually, the movie missed things, so it's not a good movie? Like, I don't want to find a reason to dislike something I like. I'd rather leave it as it is. Because so many people that are like, Harry Potter's a good one, very divided whether the movies are better than the books. I read some of the books, but I've seen all the movies. I have no interest in reading the books again, or because it might just make the movie sound bad. Like, I don't want to ruin something I already like.
That's interesting.
I get that.
On the flip side, it might then add to the movie, but then every time you watch the movie, you go, oh, I wish they added that part. That was my favorite part of the book, but they didn't put in the movie. I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
For me, I feel like it's more like I want to live in the world a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And a book is very much like it takes you into that world and keeps you in that world. I don't like to, because I don't like to mix the mediums. You know what I mean? Like like I've read the Harry Potter books before they were movies, and I love the Harry Potter books and I love the Harry Potter movies, but they're like two different loves. If that makes sense. They are the same world and the same characters, but it's just different. You know, like I don't expect to be sitting at a theater for 5 hours going through Harry's thoughts about Hermione or Ron or whatever. When when I'm reading the book, I expect that. So it's different, you know. And I do get what you mean, though. Like a lot of people do, and especially again, we're comic book fan. Well, I'm a comic book fan, and I watch comic book movies, so I can tell you that fandom is the most toxic, more than any book talk or 50 Shades of Grey or whatever, Twilight people. The romance novel girlies are not as bad as the comic book fans, because they will literally tear people to shreds over fictional characters that do not exist. And it's like, yes, I get it. It means a lot to you. You probably read it when you were a child and all that stuff. But I find it much more interesting when they gender bend a character or race swap a character or completely disregard a character and make this other character this character, because it's something that I'm not expecting. It's something new and it's something interesting. And I've read the original things and I have those. So it's not like they're taking anything away from me. You know what I mean? People see that when they for example, people that probably have read the book and are upset that there's not enough science in the movie Project Hail Mary. They're like, what about the reason that the thing is eating the sun? Like, they never talked about it. Because I'm like, that seemed to me that the science for me in that aspect, I did want to find out more about it. Like, what is this stuff? How does it work? Where did it come from? What's going on? And I feel like the book would explore that more. So I'll go read it and find out more about it in that aspect. But I don't need it in the movie. I don't need an extra 20 minutes of some kind of exposition about the little alien things, just to, like the thing in the box and the fact that I got out and all that stuff. That was interesting. That was fun. And I didn't need to understand any of it to have fun with it, So, like I said, to me, it's like two different mediums, and a lot of people have a problem separating the two. I don't, except for when it comes to video games. I feel like it's not that complicated. Video games and movies are not that different, and you can make a good video game movie. They have proven that it's possible. You just have to actually, go with the creators or help with the creator. Because the thing about like the books to movies or any other medium to movies, I feel is okay to to take liberties with. For video games, you can take liberties with it because it is a video game. I don't expect you to make a Halo series or a Halo movie and all be first person view. Like, that's jarring for an audience. But to make the thing and then not include any of the stuff from the video games, or to completely change the entire story and not have any elements from the video games, but just these are the characters. This is just something that we're going to do now. That to me deters.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think going from a book to a movie, as you said, books are longer. They take longer to read than to watch. So they can be more in depth. So with a movie, you need to condense that and go, this is meant to be entertaining. Where books can actually be like, yes, they can be entertaining, but they're usually to add, knowledge or gain something from. So like, it's a bit different than watching a movie, because this movie, it wasn't a documentary. It was designed to be entertaining. You were not meant to walk away with knowledge of science. Like, that's just, if you did, that's a bonus. We're going from a video game to a movie or a show. I think you're right. They're very similar, because if someone liked a game, just put that in a movie form. Like, they just want, or a TV, like you don't need to change it because there's a reason they liked it. They can be transferable. But yeah, with a book to a movie, it needs to be condensed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to deter from the my main argument. I still think you can change the movie from the video game version. It's just the fact that I feel like when they do it from books to movies, they keep a lot of the same concept and the core of what the book is about. Yeah, which is the reason that the book sells, and then they want to make the movie about it. But I feel like for video games, they're just like, oh no, these guys, they'll buy anything. They'll eat slop. So we'll just slap the name of this thing, and it'd be completely different from the video game. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but it's like,
the amount of movies out there that have the IP of a game, and they didn't follow. Like, I think of was the Uncharted. Like, the Uncharted movie did not resemble the game at all, and they just thought, we chucked the name in, people want to see it. There was that other one it was like Until Dawn. It didn't relate to the game at all.
Was completely different.
So again, you're just borrowing the IP of it. Yes, that's a bit cheap. That's like where
T said Resident Evil. I agree completely.
Resident Evil, like every Resident Evil, other than the Raccoon City one, but that one was still not that good. But the rest of them were just something totally different. Like, they just went off the rails from part 1 to like the 12th one, whatever, however many.
Well, I guess something I can think that comes to mind, I guess it's a bit off topic, but whilst we're talking about games and movies, where The Last of Us, the first season, they basically copied it scene by scene from the first game. People loved it. The second one, they sway away from the formula. Hatred. People don't like it nearly as much. Like,
people all hated the second game.
Yeah.
The hatred transferred.
While we're on the subject, I'll keep this brief. I love the second game. Like, I played the second game, and I was in awe because of how the story went. And I was an Abby fan. Like, I loved Abby. Same. I detest the fact that they cast Caitlin Dever as Abby. Like that, and I'm not even one of those people. I dislike how could you cast this person? This is the only time in cinema history that I've really detested a casting of a person. It just doesn't make any sense. And like, going into season 3, if you've not played the game, the ending of that game, there is something that happens, and it's not going to make any sense once we get there. It's not going to be as epic as the end of that game was I was distraught for like a week after finishing.
Oh, wow.
Because it took you through so many emotions. If you've not played the game, play the game. Like if you've never played the game, play the game, but be prepared to go through some emotions, because it is it's a dark game, but it's very fulfilling. Actually, might not be fulfilling.
I'm
because
like,
the
fulfilling.
the ending is like, man,
Yeah.
finish this.
I wish
need
I could remember what you're talking about. I played the game twice, and I still can't not. I don't know.
want to spoil it for anybody, but like,
No, don't spoil it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
replay. I'm gonna replay it again leading into the season 3.
yes. And I stopped like after the death in season 2. I stopped watching the show because, one, I don't like the actress playing Abby, and then the actress playing Ellie.
Yeah,
It's just not doing it for me either. Like it was like once you lose the and I'm not the biggest Pedro Pascal fan, but like Joel as a character is a great character. Like just a great character. Everything about the games, everything about all of the characters in the games are better than what they did on the screen. So I kind of checked out. I don't hate it, but it was just like, nah, it's not for me. I'll catch it once it's all done. Like I'll probably go and binge it and just see if it left me with that feeling of playing the game. But yeah, I'll stop talking about that now because I could go on the Last of Us.
Listen, talking about
maybe
Last of Us.
we need to do a live stream on the Last of Us.
Yeah. Now that you're the first game, the best game I've ever played in my life. And then when the first season came out, I thought the series was better than the game. As far as the story, because what they were able to explore, especially with the character, the gay character that you kind of would get if you really explored in the game, but you completely missed if you didn't. Like that whole exploration of his character, and that, like, I really enjoyed season 1. So when season 2 they dropped the ball casting wise and story wise, I was like, ooh, because Ellie, her in the first season was Ellie. I felt this is really good. But in the second season, I'm like, this is not the Ellie from the second game. The Ellie from the second game was much more aggressive, much more, much more on a quest for revenge, on a quest to like growing and more an adult, where I felt like she was kind of like receding. Like at the end of season 1, she seemed more adult than all of season 2. She felt like she went backwards. And I'm just like, what? But anyway, we're not talking about The Last of Us. My bad.
We can do another video.
So back to what we were talking, we worked out that none of us have read the book, or we've attempted to a little bit.
Book.
Jacob's got the book,
right.
Not overly interested in reading it. So back to the movie part. The next question was, is there a standout favorite part of the movie that we have? Do you want to go first, Jacob?
Probably for me, I would probably say the first communication between Rocky and Ryan Gosling's character, because it feels like they both need each other at that same point. So it feels like that was really earnest and really human for them to go through that kind of bonding together. And it was really like drove me in, even though Rocky was a human, but it was really awesome to see them communicate and things like that. So probably the bonding between those characters, I would say.
Hey, Spoiler King.
What's going on, man? Welcome.
Okay. Wilson, your favorite part?
I just want to comment on Jacob's favorite part. You know what it reminded me of? Arrival.
Oh, yes.
When they had to talk to each other and had to figure out how to talk to each other. Great movie. Another great sci-fi movie. Oh, Rocky was the best part of the movie. For me, I'd say my favorite part was, there were so many good parts. I'm gonna go with the first time I cried when he was giving a speech for the people that died, and it's still the very beginning of the movie. He doesn't really know them yet, like he hasn't remembered them, that he's gone through this journey and actually knows them and has spent time with them and stuff. So he gives like the speech of, I don't know these people, but he's looking at all their pictures and all the like their family and stuff, and he's like, we must have known each other, and I felt like it was like heart-wrenching because I'm like, oh man. And then later when you learn all the stuff that that they went through, and I'm like, oh, like it hits harder thinking about it after the fact. But when it hit me then, because I was just like, damn, like that's sad. These people just died in space. No one knows that they're probably dead. He has no communication with back home, and he's all alone, and he doesn't remember anything or anyone. But yeah, I'll go with that one. I'll go with that one.
Good choice.
Okay, T?
I think my favorite part of the movie was the first time I almost cried. Was the scene where they were in the bar, the club, the karaoke bar, and Sandra Hüller's character started singing. Because I've been there. Like I've been about to do something a little crazy, like a little wild, where you don't know what the other outcome's gonna be. And Sandra Hüller was like in charge, right? But everybody knows she was not personable. Nobody knew her inner workings, and she just got up there and made herself vulnerable for the people. And I think that the scientists, they know they're about to go and die. You had the two scientists who ends up getting blown up. They're like having their moment, and everybody else is having a great time. They're getting wasted. And like some people, I read some people say they didn't like that, where these are people supposed to be saving the world, and they're acting like kids, and it's like, but that's what you do when you're about to go. Yeah, that, like you party before, like you feast before you go to war. Like it's
the D-Day soldiers did.
Yeah, like you party, you feast, because it might be the last time you get to do that together, right? And she got up there and sang the song, and I had no idea what this song was. Like, I'm not a Harry Styles guy. It wasn't until after the movie I was like, what is this song she sang? Like, it was she had a great voice, and apparently that was ad-libbed for the movie. Like, they just kind of did that. They shoehorned that in there, and I thought that was like a beautiful part of the movie, because of course, not knowing that she drugged him after that. Like, I thought that was like a rallying call, because he needed somebody. They kept talking about needing somebody to go out there and fight for, right? What are you going there to fight for? I understood why the Japanese or Chinese, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't know what his ethnicity was, but he had a family, and it's like, why would you leave your family? It's like, I'm going to save my family. I'm always going to choose to do that over the latter. But just that scene, I thought it was beautiful. Like I thought that the singing was great, the song choice was great, and it just rallied the troop. It galvanized the crew, and it's like, let's work harder to get this thing out of there. And then of course they blew up.
I thought it was a clever bit of marketing, because that song was in all the trailers, and it's not a song about space. So they could have picked a space song in all the trailers, and it was like, what's the significance of this Harry Styles song? And I imagine that it's probably the only song in the movie that's not a score. Like, it's probably the only song that has words in it. And the fact that, so like, where is this? Why did they pick this song of all songs? Like, Harry Styles is massive, but why? And then reveal that she sings it in karaoke was like, well, it's pretty epic. Like, this is actually really smart that they've managed to tie that in. And I know I can't think of another movie where that's the case, where the song that they play in the trailer actually, sometimes they feature in the movie, but to be actually a part of the movie.
I think that's why. Because I heard that they said they had a hard time clearing the song, and then they called him, and it was like, can we use your song? And like that, it was a pretty cool story, and it was pretty cool part.
That is cool. We up to me?
Yeah.
Probably favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite. Okay, favorite scene would be when they build the capture the astrophage. Like, they're being to the shops and they bought the stuff, and he's doing the experiments there. I thought that was probably my favorite scene. I enjoyed that part. So yeah, that'd be my favorite part. I also really like it's Lionel Boyce from the Bear. I think he's a really good actor, and I thought he was just a cool character in this. He was just like too cool for school, but like a nice bloke, and like, I don't know, it's very similar to his role in in the bear, I thought. So I enjoyed that scene, the overall the science leading up to going. Like he thinks that he's just doing research to try and help them save the Earth. And then, you know, only to find out that he's now going to have to be the one to do it. So that was my favorite. Probably my favorite overall thing about the film was actually the order, or the fact that kind of they start somewhere halfway in the story of him being in space, waking up, and then working backwards and finding out. I thought that was a very, very clever way to keep someone engaged, because I guess we, watching the trailer, know he goes to space. So watching it the other way around, we'd be sitting there going, okay, well, how do they motivate him? How do they get him to go do this? He's already said he's not an astronaut. He's not going to do it. So there's no point trying to slow reveal, oh, he volunteers to do it. It's like, no shit, we know he went to space. We've seen the trailer. So how do we do that? We show it backwards and we find out he did not volunteer. He was drugged and forced to go there. So I actually think that's a very genius way of setting up the plot. So that's like my favorite part of the movie. But my favorite scene is I enjoyed the science part when they were mucking around. You know, he goes to the shop and, you know, he's buying the glasses and buying the snacks. And he's like, oh, do we have a credit limit? He's like, no, we're the government. We have no limit. We spend what we want. So that was I thought my favorite scene was.
Yeah, Carl was probably my favorite character of the movie, because they didn't play him too gruff. Like he wasn't like he became like he was helping him. He was motivating him. He's like, hey man, you got to do this. Like you just got to do this. It
kind of reminded me of Happy in Iron Man. So he's no Happy. Yeah. He's kind of like, he's like the bodyguard kind of friend and comedic relief. Kind of, you question how he got to where he is. He doesn't look like he'd be qualified or serious enough to have the position he has.
Exactly. Yes. Very true.
Okay, moving into a character breakdown. So I did say before we'd talk about Ryan Gosling. So we'll start with him first. So Ryland Grace, science teacher, what he was a well-renowned scientist until he badmouthed all the people in his field, only to then eventually find out his theories were correct when he went to space. Do you think Ryan Gosling was the perfect person for it? We talked about this off screen. I hate it when people ask, could you imagine anyone else playing this? It's very hard to imagine someone else playing a character when someone nails it. But I'm certain if someone else played the role and did a good job, we'd be saying the same thing. So, of course, someone else could do it. But do you think that do you think he nailed the role?
I do. Yeah. Short answer, yes.
Yes. Ignoring the cliche of like, oh, no one else could possibly play this. We all know someone could. Who would be other candidates, do you think, that would have nailed this role as well?
I think an obvious one is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Reynolds, because he could do the single person being funny by himself, talking to an inanimate object, and he can do the serious crying role, you know, whatever. Like I've seen the thing about that I hate about that what people say about Ryan Gosling is the same thing I hate about people say about Ryan Reynolds. It's like they're both very good actors with comedic timing and with serious roles. They both had serious roles in different movies and have like they've shown off that they can pull all these things off together. So being all in one movie where you have to be serious, be funny, be, you know, self-deprecating, all that stuff, I feel like to me it's an obvious choice, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I agree with that. My first thought was, he'd be a bit too silly, but that's recency bias because I'm thinking of, you know, things like Deadpool. Like Deadpool, but then if we look back to some of his movies prior to that, there's that timeline one where there's like he's explaining to like the girl how he met the mother, and he tells all the stories, and he's very serious in that. So I need to remember he pulled that off, so he could pull this off too.
Indeed, yes.
He pulled off the solo type movie. Have you ever seen the movie Buried?
Buried, yeah.
Where he's in like he's very odd and he's trying to like
Yep.
Yes, he's in a coffin the entire movie, talking to cops, trying to get them to
find him.
To find him where he's at. Great movie. Definitely don't want to spoil the ending on that one, but it was a very good movie. Like that was one of the first serious roles that I saw of Ryan Reynolds. I was about to call him Ryan Gosling, but definitely maybe the movie you were talking about.
Definitely maybe. Yeah, I love that movie.
Like
too.
that. That's top 5 rom-coms of all
Yeah,
time.
that's facts.
I
That's
love
facts.
that movie. But the other actor I could have saw playing this because of his comedic timing, and I think he's an underrated actor, Channing Tatum. Like people hate on Channing Tatum. Like I've never seen any Magic Mike movies, so there's that. But everything else, like he's very self-deprecating. He's funny, like he's charming. I mean, people like Ryan Gosling doesn't look like a science teacher. Well, I don't know what science teachers look like, but I think Channing Tatum could have pulled off that because he's endearing.
He is.
You know, he can do it. He can do it all. But I mean, there are just tons of other actors who probably could have pulled it off. But I'm glad that Ryan Gosling got this opportunity because now people could just stop talking bad about him. Like I don't understand where the hate comes from, but
yeah, I can't think of any Ryan Gosling movies I don't like. Like I can't think of any I dislike. There's some I don't think are like amazing, but there's none that I dislike. Like
Same.
I don't know. Like The Notebook's one of the most loved movies I know of. So like if people are going to question his credentials, like the Notebook is really, really loved. So if you can't think he can't act, like he does well in that. I really like that movie he's in with Steve Carell, and he's like plays the cool dude that like teaches him how to like, you know, get over like that his wife like left him. Like
another top 10 rom-com.
Another top 5, like Crazy Stupid Love.
That's the one.
That I've watched that movie at least 500 times. It is a comfort food type movie because it's just so silly. It's good.
Yeah, I just think I don't know why anyone could have any hatred for him. Like he, without a doubt, has proven his range, and
he has.
Yeah, so I think it's odd jealousy, maybe. You think of anyone, Jake?
I was thinking like Glenn Powell because they kind of look similar as well. So if you want someone to fill the look role, I think Glenn Powell would be a good choice.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would do okay. But that idea of like self-deprecating, I just don't know if he pulls that off. He just seems too cool. Like I don't think he can even make fun of himself, or even if he does, people are like, nah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I can see it. He's a great actor, though. I like him.
So moving on to the character Eva Stratt, you said played by Sandra Hüller. I don't know. I always struggle to think of female actors and like who would play who, because I don't know. I just always struggle with this question. Like, who do you guys think could pull off that role?
This is the boss lady.
Loving kiss. Yeah.
I think actually maybe this is just recency bias because I've watched The Pit now religiously, but there's this head nurse in The Pit.
Oh yeah.
I think she could pull it off. Because she has this commanding presence when she needs to, and then also, but like it's like an undertone of like care also, like you kind of she's like yeah, kind of. So I feel like she would be able to pull something like that off.
I don't know. So this character, Eva Stratt, my wife is German. She reminded me so much of my wife. As I was watching the movie, like she just very fact-based, very just like everything. There is a means to every end. Like there's no need. Don't think about it. Don't let your emotions run you. This has to happen. And I was like, you're killing it. And then every time she was on the screen, it just reminded me of my wife. Like just. So I couldn't even think of anybody else playing the character but her because she was perfect. Like she killed it. She nailed that role.
If I had to pick one, ignoring the fact that in the book, I believe the character was also German, so that it theoretically need to be someone with an accent or at least look like they're from Germany. But if that wasn't the case, maybe like the lady that plays Gamora, that's like now the highest grossing female actress of all time. Like maybe she could pull off that role, but I don't think she would look right, or you wouldn't buy that she was German. But if that wasn't the case, then I think she could probably play that kind of like serious role, and then I don't know, she looks around the right age and like, oh, I wonder if maybe even could have been like Ryan Gosling. His wife is it Eva Mendes? Is that, are they still together? Or that was his wife? Like,
Yes,
maybe his
that is-
wife could have played the
Right.
character. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't, does she even do any acting anymore? I haven't seen anything forever.
I haven't seen. I mean,
She was in that Eddie Murphy movie on Prime.
which
Oh,
one?
like the high one, is it? Oh.
Yeah, where they were
well,
trying to
the
steal a
pickup.
bank. Yeah,
She was
where they
right.
were like
She
trying to
was
steal.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It
remember.
was like a comedy. But Zoe Saldana in Lioness on it's a series on Showtime.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman's also. Oh, Nicole Kidman would have. Yeah, there you go. You thought of one. Yeah, Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, because she's in that show as well, and she plays the boss lady, and she's very, very by the numbers, by the book. She could have. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
You got anyone in mind, Jacob?
Maybe like Sandra Bullock or someone that's like older sort of actress, I guess.
Man, that makes me feel old when you say Sandra Bullock. So.
I agree with that. I guess I'm thinking more like
Sandra Bullock as well.
It's true. It's true. It just makes me feel, it hits me. It hits home.
It's so you have to excuse us. We saw Miss Congeniality on VHS.
I would say, I was with her when I saw Speed in the theater.
Oh,
like I was
an awesome movie.
Great movie.
Sandra Bullock's great, but yeah, she's obviously older than she looks because she looks very good for her age. So I don't know what her age is, but if she said she was 40, I'd probably buy it. Like maybe she's 40, I don't know.
For sure.
This is an interesting one. Like Rocky, I guess, because we know it is a puppet. But do we think that was a good move? You think that was the best choice, or
who did play him?
One of the puppeteers did.
Apparently, the person that played him ended up voicing him as well, like the puppeteer. I remember hearing something about that. He did such a good job that he ended up being the person that they used as the computer voice.
Wow.
Yeah. So I read there were 5 puppeteers, and he was just
James Ortez. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he was the voice. So they could have went with voice. Yeah, what was the choices they were going through the screen? One of them wasn't one like no, I can't remember. The dude that's like he narrates like God in like every movie and
Morgan.
Like wasn't he one of the options he scrolled through on the thing?
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm glad they went with somebody unknown. I don't like Morgan Freeman would have been great, but I think it would have distracted me from.
Yeah. The tone would have been different.
You would have to play into it. He would have to be like, oh, okay, Morgan. Okay, like you would have to play on like he was talking to Morgan Freeman for it to work. But
what if they got Sly Stallone to play?
Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, that would have been funny. I had to laugh though when he called Rock, like he asked for Rocky's like partner's name and he said whatever it is in his own language. He's like, I will just call her Adrian. Yeah. Like the person I was with did not get that reference. I'm like, you've clearly not seen any of the Rocky movies. What else? So obviously it was cool, and maybe that's the reason why Ryan Gosling performed so well, because it was, as you said, practical effects. He was acting to someone instead of this green screen or someone wearing a green suit with dots on it, or however they would have had to have done it. But it made a difference. But yeah, I did see in an interview with him, and they had like the guy that wrote the book, and they were answering all these questions, and they asked about the practical things. And I didn't realize that they didn't use any CGI. And even when he's out in space and he's catching the astrophage, they said there was like dark rooms and they were shining torches in like holes in like cardboard and stuff. And yeah, I'd have to rewatch it to see how, but it seemed believable, but they literally just made those effects using random things. They just like were fiddling with different ideas and made it look the way it did.
See, I'm not opposed to green screen. Like saying that you didn't like the practical effect of Rocky is really the only effect that I think that really matters, because you're in space, right? Like unless you're Tom Cruise and you're gonna do a film in space, I know you're not in space, right? I know you're somewhere on Earth. So that planet, right? The shot where they're like hovering over that planet, that was beautiful. That was probably my
Well,
second favorite piece of the movie was just the visual of going to a distant planet and it looking nothing like anything I've ever seen before. Um, if that was green screen, I mean, that's okay. It would have been okay with me. I don't know how I mean, I'm assuming that that had to have been CGI, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. I like the keep
No,
yourself.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. They
keep-
say practical, but they
Yeah,
use CGI elements. But
yeah,
yeah,
they had to, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, I think
if it was
I
all
think
good,
sometimes, like now, with to avoid that CGI label and say it's practical effects, they use those big giant LED screens and they project on the back. So then instead of you acting to a green screen, you're acting like you're in that place, so they can kind of get a bit more. So maybe it was something like that. They're just massive screens, so he was acting like he was in space, but it's just a screen making him feel like he's in space. But either way, it's very, very cool.
one of my favorite scenes was when he was dancing with the astrophage when it was all red, and Rocky was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's just like enjoying the moment.
Enjoying the moment, man.
So speaking of astrophase, I'm for one, I'm not a scientist, so I can't pick apart whether the science of the movie makes sense. But as a casual watcher, do you think it adds up? Like, do you think we're watching that, you go, yeah, that didn't seem stupid. Like that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know nothing about science, but it just seemed like
You're not the science guy.
Yeah,
Do you wish there was maybe more explanation? I left the theater going, oh, I want to know more about this. It, like, considering that some of it theoretically could be true, I want to know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's why I'm interested in reading the book. But I feel like they danced around it well enough that it's still understood for the story.
Yeah.
That if you want to know more about it, like I said, I feel like that would be where people would be like, all right, I'll read the book because I'm hearing the same thing that T was hearing, which is if you want more of the science, the book focus more on the science elements and the book, like the story elements of as far as like the character beats, they hit it pretty well in the movie. So I'm like, all right, so I'm not gonna have any fun surprises like that in the book, but I'm definitely gonna find out what the hell astrophage is and how it works scientifically, because I am interested in that.
Yeah, I suppose they gave it just enough to keep the casual watcher interested. Happy. My only nitpick is I wish they showed like a timeline. Like I really want to know how long it took him to get there, how long he was in a coma for, you know, how many years in the future was it when they received the package? Like we saw them collect it and they're going through ice, like, and she looked older. Like, was that 20 years, 30 years? Like maybe something.
They said it at some point. It was 20 years.
It was like 20 years.
Yeah. It was like that's why I assume, because I didn't read the book. I assume that's why I was like they were going through frozen because the Earth had
gone through
like it was cooling, but it wasn't the 30-year mark where it was saying it would hit like a 10 degrees.
Catastrophic. Yeah.
But it was 20. It was 20 years. That's why she had the gray hair. They put the gray wig on.
Maybe I kind of would have liked to have known how Earth played out, but then I guess that's like a separate movie. Like watching just other countries start fighting with each other over resources like they predicted. But maybe that just detracts from the movie, or that's another movie itself.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a completely different movie.
But yeah, maybe I think just maybe some kind of known thing that, he was asleep for 4 years to get here, because space is so wild and I can't wrap my head around it. So it's be cool to just know. And then, the fact that she looked 20 years older, and then when he's on the errand, he looks the same, doesn't look a day older.
Scientifically, that is accurate.
Yeah.
Because you don't really, it's not that you don't age when you travel through space, it's because time is different relative to space. Yeah. That much I do know, because I remember that the astronauts that went to the moon and came back, like one of them was almost as old as his son when he came back, or something like that. And that was like one of the interesting stories of what happened between the astronauts and their families and stuff. And that's like a real thing that happened here. So I always found that interesting. I was like, why is it that you allegedly go to space and come back and you're technically younger, but it's not that you're younger, you just don't age in the same relative time frame. But that all has to do with like a bunch of complicated science that I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science.
But yeah, it's just like, and the thing is, like, was he there, like, you know, years and years before the package arrived to Earth? Like, who beat who there? Oh no, I just would have liked maybe a bit of something like, 20 years later, or maybe, as you said, because time is relative, they can't actually give that number. It doesn't make sense. The number is non-existent, or
I mean, they could have used like Earth time. You know, it could have been like, this is 20 years in Earth, but Ryan Gosling still looks like it's only been 2 years for him, but it's actually been 20 years at Earth. They could have done that. Yeah. But I feel like, again, probably in the book they do that. Yeah. In the movie, they didn't want to, bog down stuff.
I reckon they missed something too with, how he did I don't know if they were daily, but he was doing the blog updates and recording it. Maybe it could have just said like day 55, day 200. Because how long was he interacting with Rocky trying to find this cure? Like, it just would have been cool to know. They're just the things I want to know. Because he could have been there for like 3 days and he worked it out with the astrophage. And he's like, it's easy. Like, or he's there for 10 years. Like, we just don't know. Like, there's no way. There was nothing to kind of.
He was definitely there for a while, because the first part was communicating with Rocky, which took a bit. Yeah, took a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was some people's issue with the movie as well. Was just like the timeline of it. It didn't really, like, they were given like, it's going to take 4 years for me to get back to Earth. It's going to take 6 years for him to get back to his planet. So they gave little nuggets in there.
Right.
But once again, you could have said it would take 500 years, and it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have swayed me one way or another. But like, they were given the information, but they weren't One of the things I liked about the movie is they weren't hand-holding people through the story. Right, they were telling a story, but they didn't like oversimplify it, but they didn't also overcomplicate it. Like, it was accessible to everybody. But you're right, they did miss some things because it was very unclear how long he was there. But at the same time, I truly didn't care. I was lost. I was lost in the timeline. I was like, I'll check out. I'll check out on the line.
I got real lost when he went to, like, he was on his way to Earth, and then he's like, I gotta go meet up with Rocky because he doesn't know that the thing's gonna break free and kill him. So then he calculated the gas of whatever he had left, and I'm like, what? You lost me.
Well, that kind of leads into it with let's discuss the ending. So, like, again, we all love the movie, so I don't think this is bad mouthing. It's just talking about things that we don't understand or think could have been a little different, whether or not it makes it better or not. But like Jacob was saying to me that he questioned the fact that they both ended up at the same place at the same time. Like, they just kind of like bumped into each other, and like, what are the odds? And it's like, well, I was saying, I guess they were going to around the same location for the same mission. And I guess in space, if everything you see is really, really far away, and then there's this one ship, even if it's 100 kilometers away, it's the closest thing to you, it probably stands out. So like, did Rocky go, oh, look, ship? Or we assume that they've got like some kind of radar tech, and he's like, hey, there's a spaceship over there, let's go to it. Like, I don't know, like, there's things you'll never know, but they're like little nitpicks.
I feel like they explained the like the distance between when it would be correct to be as close to the astrophage as possible with it not affecting the fuel. And since Rocky was affected by the astrophage itself, he also didn't want to get as close to the astrophage, but still be close enough to, I don't know, do something. So, but then all his people died in this ship.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why. But also, like, the thing that Rocky threw, and the message in the beginning, the little bottle, that was, I love that gag where he threw it like 5 times because he's like, I'm going to throw it real slow because Ryan Gosling can't catch it fast enough. And
the whole idea of,
knowing that distance,
you mentioned about the calculating the fuel thing. I still struggle to understand how even doing the maths to be able to catch up to Rocky, one, and like intercept before he got home, then have enough fuel for them both to get home. And then I guess maybe we assume that Rocky's gone on a direct line to get home, so then he knows the path he'd go on. But I don't know. It's like finding it. I think it's like a needle in a haystack. I feel like there's no way he could have and it's a big risk to go, hey, I'm going to go catch up to my friend, not knowing if you're going to make it and that you both just die in space. It's wild, but I guess it's, I don't know. It's science fiction.
That's the risk that heroes take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he wasn't willing to take at the beginning.
Yes, that's the risk that was his hero's journey, as they say.
Yes.
I don't believe in coincidences. I've never, like, there are things I've just seen too much where something was like something that seemed innocuous or something that was not supposed to happen or someone I was not supposed to run into, I did. Or like you just meet people for a reason. Like that was just predetermined. Like they said in the movie, this is predetermined, right? It was going to happen no matter what, because those are the only two people who could save, you know, their planets or potentially the universe, because astrophage was going to keep eating suns until it was all lifeless. But it just that was fate, as they say. Like I don't really believe in too many religions, but I don't believe in coincidences. So yes, what are the odds of them? Like it's 1 in 2 billion, but it was just predetermined that was going to happen. Like they were going to run into each other. At least that's how I tell a story in my head. That's what makes the story better to me, because it was fate that they had to meet each other at the right particular time in order to save them.
So whilst we're on the topic of things that we think are, I don't know, could be better or nitpick about it, what have you got, Jacob? Anything that you want to break down of the movie?
My nitpick, it's so hard to come up with, and I feel like I'm just nitpicking for the sake of it. But I guess I feel like the science might have been the weakest element, but this is my kind of opinion on that, and this to me makes sense. I feel like the movie's meant to be more of a character thing, and I feel like the book is meant to be the science. So I think for me, that's why I think the nitpick is, I haven't read the book, but I feel like that's why the science isn't much in there, because the characters are the main focus of the movie. So that would probably be my main nitpick, is that it feels like there's more to the story, and I think that's why the book is kind of needs to be read, because I think the movie has only ground the surface, because it's telling more of the character and story side of it, and the science and all these questions we have, I think will be mostly answered in the book. So that would probably be my answer.
I don't know if the book does, because like I've spoke to one person that read it and they said that it was same with like a little bit more in depth of characters and like a few extra scenes. And then an interview I saw where they asked the question. They had the directors, they had Ryan Gosling, they had the writer of the book, and someone asked that, and the writer was like, no, essentially he's like, no, it doesn't go into it much more. So I'm unsure. Maybe it's the interpretation that it goes into depth more, because you can sit there, you can reread the page and understand it more. But whether or not there was any more information than is in the movie, maybe not. Maybe you just have a chance to read it. Like whether you watch a TED Talk or you read a book about the thing that the TED Talk's on, maybe you take more from reading it than watching it. So you interpret that there was more information in the book, but maybe it was just the same. You just had more time to divulge it. Because he was like, no, it doesn't really go into in-depth much at all more. But I'm not willing to find out.
I would say I think he was going to say that anyway, so people go see the movie instead of going about it.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's a good point. Like, whether that was a smart tactic, we go, let's make the movie about the characters, let's make the book about the science. Do both. See, they can sell both. You go, oh, you've had a taste, now go find out the rest. Or, you know, whether you're the book reader first, go see the movie. If you're the movie watcher first, go read the book.
Well, it's worked for me.
Yeah. See, so one extra book to you. Any other nitpicks or critiques or things you'd like to change? Maybe even the ending. What do you guys think? Do you think that that was a good choice, him going to save Rocky and living an errand, or would have you liked to have seen him come home and be the hero and be celebrated?
What do you think, T?
Oh, so the only nitpick that I have of the movie, it was just too long. I think I think this movie was like more made for the masses. I don't think that they were trying to niche the movie down. I think they tried to make a feel good, bombastic, you know, big box office type of movie. And I just think it was too long. I didn't feel it though. Like I remember leaving the theater and I was like, man, this was a great, like I enjoyed every second of it. But then I have to think of the through the lens of the average moviegoer. Other than this movie, I'll be totally honest. I don't like going to see movies over 2.5 hours long. I didn't know how long this movie was. Honestly, if I did, I might not have gone to see it in the theater because I really don't like watching movies that long in the theater. Like it just, after a while, I get antsy or I might have to use the bathroom or something where I might miss a specific part. I was glued to my seat the entire time. I never looked at my watch. Like then once it was over, I was like, oh, that was, I think it was 2 hours and 38 minutes or 48 minutes, one of the two. And it was long, like for an average moviegoer, especially if you would take your kid, you know, your teenage kid, 15, 13, whatever the case may be. They're not going to want to sit through that. After a while, they get, like, it don't matter how entertaining it is. It's like, it's time to go.
Logistically, it's even a nightmare trying to plan a time to go see it. Like if you go see it at night, it's like, geez, we're going to be up past midnight seeing this thing.
Yeah.
Seeing it during the day, it's like, oh, well, that might cross over with picking up the kids from school or cooking dinner. Like it's very hard to fit 3 hours into a day. So it's like a whole thing. This is something I pull apart all the time about movies being long. Like I'm not against it, but it's like, what was the purpose? If you trimmed 30 minutes off this movie, could it still have the same impact? And if it did, you know, let's say you have a 3-hour movie, it might, the amount of people it pleases may not outweigh the amount of people it deters. So, you know, so if this movie was 30 minutes longer, maybe an extra 10% of people see it because they're not deterred by the length. But those like us that go see most things or really love movies would have seen it anyway. So do you end up attracting more people by making it a bit more accessible and, you know, less frightening by looking at the time? And yeah, maybe they sell more tickets, maybe more people like it, because there's going to be a lot of people that didn't get to the ending. Like, so when it comes out on streaming, they might watch half the movie, fall asleep, it's too late, time to go to bed, busy, get to work, and they don't go back to it. So, you know, sometimes being that little bit shorter, if you can be more efficient and cram the same stuff in without rushing it, you attract more people or you expand your market as such.
I think they could have tightened it up, like cut like 15 to 20 minutes. Not saying that they didn't use their time wisely. I just feel like there are things that could have just tightened the movie up a little bit. It just made it more appealing to the masses. Like I said, I still enjoyed it a lot. You know,
I can't think of any areas I think that needed to be trimmed or felt that they were wasted. But I'm sure there's, you know, 30 seconds from this scene there and a minute from that you could bring it down and tighten it. And yeah, if it can just attract a few more people, because but I wonder now, is there's this thought that if you're going to be a serious movie maker and you're going to make epics, it has to be 3 hours, because if it's not, then what are you doing? Because I feel like every big epic movie comes out now, it's that expectation that it needs to be really long. And is it, you know, some unwritten rule amongst filmmakers that if you can't spit out a 3-hour movie, then that's just for the casual fan. Like if you really want to make something that's a masterpiece, it's got to be super long. Which is odd, because I don't think many Spielberg movies are super long. Scorsese movies aren't necessarily that long. But now it's, if you're going to make something big, it's got to be long. It's got to be long and confusing if it wants to be epic.
I guess that's all. That's why everything's subjective, because there is no way. Like there're just certain movies I still haven't watched. Oppenheimer, I still haven't watched. Killers of the Flower Moon. Like all of these 3-hour movies. Man, like it's just something. It's the, like you said, like being taken seriously, that's just pompous to me. Like that's very arrogant. Because a lot of it could be cut. Like a lot of those movies, they I get it. You're a director and you're making something, you're seeing your vision out there. So it's hard to cut certain scenes because some like Oppenheimer could have been 4 hours. It could have been 5 hours. Like I'm pretty sure somewhere Christopher Nolan has like a 5-hour cut of Oppenheimer where he has so much information in there. And these scenes that went longer. I know for a fact that he has an extended cut that's at the minimum 4 hours. Like Zack Snyder made a 3-hour Justice League. Like, so I know that Christopher Nolan made a 4-hour Oppenheimer somewhere. But it's just not for me. It's just there's no need for it. You can make a tight movie. It don't have to be 90 minutes. It could be 2 hours, but like 2 hours and 30 over. Like it has to be compelling. It has to be a reason for it to be that long. The Avengers, they're gonna have like 50 superheroes. There's gonna be a need for that to be that long, right? Dune, it's telling a very epic and scale story. There is a reason for those movies to be that long. Probably a reason for this movie too, but at the same time, like there were just parts of it where I mean, I felt like we spent 10 minutes waiting for Rocky to wake up. And we could have, like, it was gratifying because he did, but I didn't know if he would. Honestly, I thought he was gonna have to figure it out. Like, what do I do? I'm the buried his space dog. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, you wonder as well if there's a bit of an influence from, like the cinemas and streaming services. Because like if you're a streaming service, your key measurement of success is, time spent, how long people are watching, retention rates. So if you make a 3-hour movie, if people only watch an hour and a half, they go, cool, we're killing it. Our retention rates through the roof. Where you make a 90-minute movie and people only watch 45 seconds of it. And then, with, because I know they have this things like CinemaCon where like all the cinemas get together and they talk about like how much popcorn sales they've had and the new flavors of this. Do they get together with movie makers and say, the longer the movie is, the more products we sell. So can you please make long movies? Like, is there some kind of like push towards making longer movies because it sells? So maybe my idea that by making it shorter, you attract more people. Maybe it's the reverse. The longer, they sell more products, which is at the end of the day is the end goal. There's no point having more people if they're not spending money or buying stuff. So I don't know.
I've never even thought of that. That's a good point.
It's a tin hat conspiracy.
I wouldn't. I mean, because I just was watching an episode of The Boys, and they shoehorned Taco Bell in there, and I was just like, cool. like
knowing the way The Boys work, they chuck that in there as satire because they just straight up know that that's what other shows do and movies do. So they're like, screw it, let's just do it and be so corny about it because we're kind of making fun of what other people are doing.
Well, yes.
But also get Taco Bell money.
yeah, true. Like, why not appease both? Make fun of Taco Bell and people that do paid advertisement, but get paid doing it.
They're paid doing it. One of the superheroes had all his ads on his suit. Like he had he was added like from the top down. He had all of the sponsors on it. I was like, you know what? That's true. Like that's actually what this world would be. Streamers doing superhero stuff with ads on them. So people go.
Well, think of like even like Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby covers his car with placement. Like that is making fun of how silly NASCAR is with the advertisement. But at the same point, they got paid to put those on there. So they're getting paid to make fun of the things that they're getting by the people they're getting paid by. Like it's kind of genius.
Love that.
First or last.
He's driving. It's really hard to see with that on there. But I do. Like so dumb. But so true though. You're right. Like that's exactly what the cars are just tatted up with all of the sponsors. Why not put it on your windshield?
What were we talking about? I think we're talking about the ending, weren't we? Like whether we thought that. What do you think, Jake? Do you like the ending choice?
I think the ending makes more sense because when you think about it, if your own race and your own society does something and takes you against your will, are you really going to go back to the society that did that for you? So personally, I think it makes sense to someone that has accepted you from a different race more than your own. I would definitely want to go to them more than the bunch of humans that that took you against your own will and kind of forced you on it. And this is my other nitpick that I had. The boss basically did nothing the entire movie. She basically made other people do things when I know you're meant to do that as a boss, but that's why kind of the entire movie, it's like she's giving her speeches, but I'm like, you're not doing anything to actually be motivating. So I'm like, at least other people that are motivating, like Michael Jordan, at least when they have something to talk about, they actually are more believable. What when she do it, it's like, well, you're a scientist, go out and do it yourself. So,
but the thing is, was she like? Do we even know? Like how? Was she a politician? Was she a scientist? Was she part of the military? What was she? Like she's just
She
the
was
boss.
the person. She
Yeah.
was the person. Like she wasn't the. I don't think she was the head, but she was put in charge.
Right.
Of the
She
project.
kept saying that a lot.
Yeah,
They put me in charge. Like, who's they?
Yeah.
Well,
But I think back to what you're saying about not wanting to go back to Earth and being because they mistreated you as such, but it's a tough one. It's like if you're the one person that can save a whole planet, like maybe they have to for the greater good. One person sacrificed for, well, there's others as well, but they chose to, the other astronauts, for the greater good. It's maybe it's a sacrifice they got to make, and I think he himself would have accepted that at some point. When you know what, I am expendable, but then your thought of why you wouldn't want to go back to, well, he didn't volunteer, he didn't want to be a hero. So heroes, even though they say they don't, like there's no true altruism is very hard. Not too many things are truly altruistic, but at some point, even the most altruistic person wants someone to give you a pat on the back and go, thanks for what you did. So he obviously didn't want that. He didn't sign up for it. He's probably like, I don't need to go back and be praised. I was like, it wasn't something I signed up for. I'll just go hang out with my new friend, like whatever. Like,
yeah, he's been raised on the planet. They made a biodome for him. Like they were like, hey, you saved us. We're gonna treat you like a king. Like they made him a house. They made it habitable for him. Like they made a space. He had the beach. He loved the beach. He loved the water. Like they made all of those things for him. I rather that than him going back, and it just like it would have not ended on a good note if he'd went back. Like it couldn't have, because if he'd go ahead.
Yeah, if you're the person that saves the planet, like what you instantly become like the most famous person ever. Like it'd just be great. Like you couldn't even imagine the fandom that would create. So it's probably just silly to even imagine it. He's probably better off the writer sending him elsewhere.
He has it in the Rock planet because it's the same. He saved all of them, and they're pretty. They damn sure remember that. But I think his arc actually is better that way because even when he remembers, oh no, I was literally drugged and taken because I did not want to do this, and then he was talking to Rocky and he was saying, I made my peace with it, and then Rocky was like, we can give you the fuel for you to go home, and then Rocky's confused, like, wait, didn't you make your peace? And then Ryan Gosling's like, that's just something you say. I definitely want to go back home. And then after he decides to go meet up with Rocky because Rocky doesn't have enough fuel, he knows he's not going to be able to come back. So he already made that decision. And that's when he actually makes the decision, I am going to sacrifice myself for these people, for these beings that I don't even know. Like he wasn't even willing to do it for human beings, but he's going to do it now because his, like T said, his hero's journey is complete. He is now the hero. He is going to go save these people. So after he saves Rocky and is able to stay in his planet, I feel like he, before, like the beginning version of his character, wouldn't fathom being important enough to teach a whole entire alien race. But now the Ryan Gosling at the end of the movie, he's like, no, I should be here and teach them and instill in them these things of humanity because I am an important human, which is not what he felt in the beginning of the movie. Now at the end of the movie, he feels he's important enough to do this. So I feel like it completes his arc. Whereas if he went back to Earth, he would still be praised and all that stuff, and maybe he'd have some kind of love interest with the older lady.
What would be other alternate options? Like, would it have been better to go with the stereotype where he just saves Earth and he just dies in space and he just comes to peace with it? Like, is that a good alternate ending, or is that just cliche? We've seen that before, you know, the person just sacrificed himself. Or like I was kind of rooting for it and hoping they actually broke cliche and he actually came back to Earth. Like until the ending we got, I was like, when he found out he was going to get the fuel, I was like, oh, this is awesome. He's going to go back, and for once the hero gets celebrated, didn't sacrifice himself. Happy endings. Because I didn't even think that going to Rocky's planet was an option. I'm thinking he's going to die in space, a hero, cliche. Why don't we actually get to see a happy ending where everyone wins, ignoring the astronauts that didn't make it, but someone actually gets back, and then to chuck another option of him going to Rocky's planet, like, yeah, maybe that is the best of the three because it's not cliche. It doesn't quite give you what you want. It actually gives you something you didn't know you needed.
Surprising.
Yeah.
So I saw the ending a little bit different. I saw it as he's a teacher, right? There are people who innately are educators. Like it's just in them. That's like if he would have went back and been the world's most famous person, he can't do. I mean, he'd do TED Talks, but he's talking to rich, pompous people. He's not teaching kids. Like that was his joy. He'd do that a PhD. He could, even though he was quote unquote like banned and blackballed, he could have done a million other things other than being a middle school teacher. You don't do that because like that's not his only choice. Like I don't care what they you could try to paint that as a picture all you want, but that's not that'll
exactly.
That should never be.
A university of some sort would take him on to be a researcher because he's smart.
Yes, and make just tons of boatloads of money, but that's what he wanted to do, and he was at peace with that. Right? That's what he loved. He loved science and he loved educating, and him getting to do that in a completely different. Like he's not only educating, but he's learning about this, this completely other race of people or species of people. And that, to me, I think that was exciting to him. And that's why I was so ambiguous in whether he's going to go back or not, because he is getting to do what he loves. Now, that's cool and all, but after a while, you're only human, right?
That's a really cool perspective. I'm thinking about that. I hope I'm not the only one that thought this. When he decided that he was going to go back for Rocky and got the fuel, I thought he was going to get Rocky and going to bring Rocky to Earth. In my head, that's what I thought he was doing. And then when I saw Ryan come out of the bubble, I was like, oh, cool, Rocky's in Earth. Like I thought they made a bubble on Earth for Rocky. And then I was like, oh, I completely got this wrong. What an idiot.
I thought the same thing.
I'm so glad that they didn't do that. Would have made me mad. Like that would have actually upset me if they would have brought Rocky to Earth.
Because my thought on that was supposedly Rocky's planet was further away. So I thought, if he intercepted him, they would have had enough fuel to get back to Earth, but not enough to get back to Rocky's planet. But I guess it doesn't make sense because Rocky had enough. It was just going to take him longer because he had to go slower. But yes, in my head, I thought he was bringing him back to Earth. And I thought everyone was going to fall in love with the Rocky character. But
except for T.
That's not what humans do. Humans would have dissected him and they would have broke the rock. They would have cut chunks out of Rocky. Like that's not what humans do. Humans don't admire aliens. They're gonna
too curious and very mean.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I mean, if it's the alien that helps save them, I think
you would think
we treat him a little bit more Superman than ET.
What I thought was, when I first saw the bubble, I was like, oh, yeah, like NASA or something's created a bubble for him. And they're just not going to tell people there's an alien and him and Grace live together in this bubble. And then when I saw him teaching the other errands, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not what it is. It's not a bubble. Because I guess that when I saw the beach, I was like, doesn't he come from a planet with no water?
Right.
That's why I was like,
He
what
was
was
dead.
Earth?
Like, oh, he's in heaven. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, this is a
Heaven
dream.
Almighty.
Yeah. But I thought it was a dream sequence or something. Either he was in stasis or he was dead. Like that was my initial thought.
Yeah. Being mindful of time, I'll keep it moving. What about ideas of sequels? So
Does it need a sequel?
I heard in that same interview I brought up a few times, they asked about what happened with the astronauts, why they didn't survive. And the writer of the book said that's for a sequel. And whether or not he was joking or not. So there's this idea that he might be writing a sequel. So what do you think? Would you like to see one? And what would you want it to focus on?
I don't know if I need a sequel. I don't know. I like the story. It's fully contained.
Should this movie be like the Interstellar of like for the next generation? Like we think of Project Hail Mary of like Interstellar. It's this perfect story that we get to experience, and then we only need the story that we got. If you want to do something else, you can do like a prequel, give it some space. Maybe that's a better idea instead of just doing the sequel because it got famous. Like you can do, the author has done other book. Maybe do that instead.
I feel like the spin-off it'd have to be a spin-off, and maybe what happened on Earth, or maybe how they used Grace's information to save Earth. But then it would just be it's a separate movie in the same universe. That's about it. But like, I don't think I want to see Grace find a way to come back to Earth, or them find a way to get to Grace. So, like, what's the point of that movie? Like, maybe just something to tie up and answer the questions of how the hell did they use this astrophage predator killer, whatever they called it, to actually get rid of it? Like, what did they do with the information? I'd like to know, but would it be an interesting movie, and how long could they make it work? I don't know.
See, I don't think. I mean, so he could write another book, right? You can. I've seen authors make just tons of books off of the backs of other books because one book sold, and they could possibly make a movie out of it. I mean, it's just going to be totally different, right? It should not be called Project Hail Mary Part 2. It'll just be a continuing story, and or a prequel or a sequel. It just, I mean, this story is done to me, right? I think that we've told a concise story. I mean, if they want to make more money, that those genuinely or typically don't work. But I mean, what do I know? They're gonna do it, and then they'll lose money, and then they'll wonder why. And it's like you could have just done something different and figured something else out. Because this is lightning in a bottle. This movie should not be as successful as it was because it's a niche type movie. And sci-fi, unless it's Star Wars or Dune, they typically don't do that well at the box office. Typically,
I think those movies that stick with people and generally make people's like top 10 list of movies all time tend to be those ones that just did that. They don't bother to muck around with it. It was successful, and they go, let's just not try and cash in on this success. Let's leave it as is. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world like that. It's about making money. So that might be a thing of the past. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, so a movie that's consistently I haven't seen it, but people rank really highly, Shawshank Redemption. If that came out now and was popular, would they find a sequel to that or a prequel? Like would they try and just make another movie based on its success where
there's plenty you can do?
Yeah, maybe this one, you just leave it. Yes, there's places you could go with it, but will it tarnish the original? And if not, could it add anything that's worth doing? And it's probably no.
But that's not the way that they think of these things. It's just,
Yeah.
will the same audience show up for the second one? That's all we need to make 2 point whatever billion, and that's all we care about.
Yeah.
So then they start thinking,
well,
the story's pretty good. Well, we can get this actor in it. Like after they're like, the first thought is, can we get 2.5 million again? And then, oh, well, we could get this director. Oh, he wrote this story, and this story's kind of okay. But initially, we're definitely going to try to make $2.5 million again, or whatever. I don't know how much.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting paradox that, you know, the people that generally are at the top of studios making movies, they're not doing it to put out good products or making it for us to enjoy. It is purely financial. And if it happens to be good, that's a bonus. And if people happen to like it, that's a bonus. But it's just about making money. So I guess it's, you know, if Nike make a shoe, they don't care whether it's comfy or ugly. As long as it sells, it is a successful shoe.
Correct.
So it's,
that's why they all are not good.
Yeah. So I guess, it's the same thing with movies, which is, I guess, there's the people like us that love movies, but really the people making them don't necessarily care about us. There's definitely actors and filmmakers in there that are just passionate about it, and they are. But the people at the top making the decisions, there's a reason they're there, because they know how to make money. And at the end of the day, emotion is not very useful when it comes to making money.
Indeed. See, I think the producers, like directors, writers, like there's creativity out there, and I feel like people are trying to create different stories, but then in order to get it sold, they're like, nah, I want you to change this because the masses are not going to understand this. And a lot of directors, a lot of writers, they tell these stories about how the movie isn't theirs, right? They wrote it, quote unquote, wrote it, but it turns into something else because producers, hey, this guy needs to have a love interest. There needs to be a cute dog in there, right? It needs to be like, and it goes from your original vision, because there are plenty of creatives out there. There are billions of people or millions of people in Hollywood trying to get their script read, right? And they wrote the next great love story or the next great, hero's journey story or superhero story. But then the producers are like, that ain't gonna sell. Like Ryan Coogler had a hard time selling Sinners because people are like, nobody wants to see this story. Nobody cares about Jim Crow South and vampires. That don't even make any sense, right? Like until one producer or one studio goes with it, and they still try to tell them to change a whole bunch of stuff in the movie. So there are creatives out there, but the people with the money who's gonna push the movie out, they want it to appease to the masses, and whatever that looks like at the end of the day, it becomes harder.
Well, it goes back to, we've talked about before, that the why they make so many sequels to movies, especially like horror films, because you know that you're going to get the repeat clientele coming back, and it's much harder to try and convince people to want to see something they've never heard of than it is to go, you like this, you'll also like this, like, which they probably won't, and you'll get less and less people each time see them, but at least there's some kind of guarantee. Like, I don't know, have you guys seen the latest Super Mario movie?
Yeah.
It like the first one, like,
is better.
Killed it. It was like the highest grossing animated. It might be the highest grossing animated of all time. It was definitely the highest grossing of that year. I think they just assumed that they could just make another movie and people would show up. And I'm sure a lot of people did initially, but in terms of word of mouth, I don't really have much good to say about it. I wouldn't be telling anyone to go watch it. So I think that they just assume that making sequels, because, the first one was popular, the second one will be too. And it's not always the case, but it's an easier sell. Like the Super Mario movie won't lose money, but they come up with some new concept and try and sell it, and maybe no one shows up. Like I think we talked about, we haven't seen it, but it was that Elio movie. Is that the one? Well, I think one of you said that did you say one of your kids loves that movie? Or maybe I'm thinking of someone else we did a live stream. Someone we did a live stream said that their kid loved that movie. And it was a movie that, like, no one saw. It was a huge flop for Disney. And
I loved Elio. I loved it.
Yeah. But so like, because it was something new and a different concept, people are going, nah, not for me. Bad. Toy Story 12 comes out, people run to it because it's a property they know. So it's like, I guess it makes sense. If you were a business, let's say you own a shop that, sells food, and you've got a burger that's popular, you may as well keep trying to make a new, improve that burger than try and sell an idea that no one's ever heard of, or just keep promoting the thing that sells.
I have to agree to disagree because I understand that that's exactly how the studio execs think.
Yeah.
The only thing that they always forget is that they are not gods. They are infallible. They make mistakes more often than they make corrections, in my opinion. So they take a movie like, let's say, Project Hail Mary. It's a lightning in a bottle kind of movie. No one like really knew that it was going to be as great as it was. And so until it comes out and until it does the numbers, then they think, well, we did it. We could do it again. And that's where they're wrong. Usually, most of the time, they're wrong. They like to use cases like this where it's like, take Elio that came out the same year as Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2, giant box office, giant hit because Zootopia 1 was a great hit. But nobody really went to see Elio, whereas a lot of people went to go see Zootopia when it was the first Zootopia. But if you compare Zootopia 1 to Zootopia 2, Zootopia 2 did not do as well as Zootopia 1. So that's really where like the comparison should be made. And that's where they don't see, that's where they don't see the thing. So they'll take Project Hail Mary 2 and they'll say, well, Project Hail Mary 2 made more than whatever random movie came out that year. So people really like Project Hail Mary 2. And it's like, yeah, but it didn't make as good money as Project Hail Mary 1 or have a good word of mouth as Project Hail Mary 1. And that's the whole cycle of these movies.
They say they're making educated guesses, but you just never know if they'll come true. I think they said with Sinners, they were expecting it to not do very well. They gave it very limited time screenings at the cinemas, and they kept having to extend it. And it won a bunch of awards and is highly rated. So you just don't know. Heaps of like comedies that were absolute flops at the cinema, but then when they came out on DVD, became cult followings. Like I think of like Grandma's Boy. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, Grandma's Boy. Great.
Did really, really poorly. Went to VHS. A bunch of stoners started watching it, spreading the word of how good it was. And that movie is like cult following. And there's heaps that would do that. And then there's heaps of movies they probably thought were going to absolutely kill it at the box office. It's got Brad Pitt in it and this person and this director, and people going, that movie sucked. Like they just did not know. Like they can't. It's so hard to predict. But I guess they know that sequels and prequels and spin-offs are more likely to work than a movie they don't know because they have no data on it. Yes. You don't know if anyone's going to like this new project that's not been a book. It's not been anything else to measure it off. Where we go, well, this was a popular book, so it might transfer into being a popular movie. The first one is
these people might show up, right? That's basically their calculation.
But you like it's impossible to know with something completely new. You can kind of infer that this is a movie similar to something else, and so therefore they might like it, but you don't know. That maybe the only thing that might help is actors. If you like, people absolutely love Glenn Powell, so we put Glenn Powell in him, so we're going to get a better chance of seeing it. Or or like for instance, Adam Sandler. If you like one Adam Sandler film, you're probably going to like the next one. It's like a similar formula, even if it's a completely different topic. So like, I guess for them, they're going to play it safe. But as you said, they're not gods. They don't know. And it's actually sad that there's no creativity or less creativity because of it, because studios play it safe where we want to see something new and then criticize filmmakers for going, oh, I haven't seen anything new in the cinemas for a while. Or then when something is, people always talk about, it was refreshing to see something different. I can't believe it. Someone's doing something different. It's like, there's lots of people that want to do things differently. They're just not allowed to.
Right.
They just don't get the freedom to do something different.
Or they do, and people simply don't go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Good Luck, was it Good Luck, Don't Die, Have Fun?
Yeah.
Have fun. Like, I mean, that movie did okay, I think. Maybe not. I don't know, because it came out pretty. Yeah. But that was different.
A really good movie.
That was a very different type of movie, right? And people, of course, once it comes out on streaming, once it hits Netflix, it goes #1 because, and I always see these articles, this movie was a flop, but it's a streaming hit because people, like, it takes a lot to get people out of their houses these days. Movie. They're not
I also think that it's not equatable because I think if enough people have heard about that movie, they would have gone to see the movie. because even the
Mhm.
trailers were interesting. But the problem is they don't have like it's not a. I don't think that's from like a big studio movie, so it doesn't have like a big marketing budget. So not a lot of people have heard about it. Whereas Netflix, that millions of people are subscribed to all over the world, they put it right there in your. This is the new.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
impossible
you
to
check it out,
compare.
even if you don't, even if it's something you're not interested in, a lot of people will click on it. And then we don't know obviously how they actually run their algorithm to say this movie is actually number one when somebody just clicked it for 3 seconds. Or
Apparently,
it was
they make it up. There was something that someone brought it. They make it up. They literally they will put the thing at the top that they want you to see. They can because it's not a
their service.
They can say whatever they want, like because it's not really lying. Like they could say it's number one, and we assume it's number one because it's been watched the most. But they in like fine print, it's number one according to Steve in accounting. Like you don't know. They can say it's number one. They don't have to justify where they get the numbers from.
There's different services. Like here we have, I think it's called Nielsen, that does actually track like minutes watched and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's released from the streaming service, so they kind of have some kind of.
But you can falsify the numbers if you put something.
It's like,
they bring out a new movie. Let's say Netflix bring out another Dwayne Johnson movie. Like what was that one? It was like Red, whatever the one that had Red Note. They bring that. They put that on the top screen. You click on it for 5 seconds. They go, "There's a view." And you literally because it was there. It was the first thing.
Right.
So they can falsify their numbers and go, "Oh look, we had 1 billion people click on this today." It was like because it was in front of their face. But it's hard to compare TV to movies because, going to the movies and streaming because
it is,
how many people would what would the average, let's say, US and Australia, how the average amount of movies people would see in the year in the cinema? Like if you took the whole population, it's probably less than 1. Like we might see 30, but to every one of us, there's 100 people that went 0 times to the movie. Right. So it's going to be so low. But how many people watched something on a streaming service?
Oh, wow.
Almost everyone. Almost everyone has watched something on a streaming service in a year. So to say that this got 1 billion people watching on Netflix, well, for $9.99 a month or whatever it is, compared to paying, $20 plus to go see something once at a time that you didn't get to choose, not in your own place, of course people are going to watch things more on streaming. So back to that movie, the Go Out, Have Fun, Don't Die. It was probably going to be more popular because now that it's part of your included monthly subscription, you're like, I've ran out of things to watch. Let's have a crack at this. Of course, you're more likely to watch that than go spend money to watch something at the cinemas you don't even know if it's good yet. It's impossible to compare the two. Like you just can't.
But that's the catch-22 because people are not going to go to the cinemas because it's gonna. I'm just gonna wait for it to come on streaming.
And so the execs think we're not going to make good.
Yeah, I'm not going to make an original IP because nobody's going to go see it. They're going to wait to go see it on streaming. Because
streaming's one of the weird things in society that was made to be a solution, but then kind of ruined the original product. It's the same with music. You create Spotify because you go, oh, people don't want to carry around CDs anymore. People don't want to pay for each digital download. Let's give a subscription. And then suddenly the subscription, all those things disappear and people are paying this monthly subscription. They go, crap, how do we get more money out of people? Your only option is to charge more for the same product.
Yes.
And then eventually people go, well, that's too expensive. I'm just going to watch it on YouTube. You just end up, you try to make a product so convenient that you end up ruining the original thing you set out to. So streaming's the same. They go, the problem would have been, okay, people don't want to rent DVDs from Video Easy anymore. How can we create a way that people can do it at home? So originally they mail out the DVDs, how Netflix started, to eventually they go, well, now you can watch it on your TV, computer, device. And then people go, well, why would I want to ever buy a DVD again? So DVDs just disappear. They're not a thing really. So they put that out of business. And then in terms of, well, why do I want to go see a movie? I'll just wait 3 months time. It'll be on streaming. And there's some people like us that want to see something fast. We don't want to wait. But considering how busy people are, waiting 3 months for a movie, they wouldn't even know. Like I reckon I could ask 9 out of 10 of my friends and they wouldn't be able to tell me anything that's coming out this year or anything that has came out this year. They just don't keep track of it because they'll just wait for it to pop up on Netflix and they go, oh, look, there's this movie. Have you seen it? Yeah, I saw it like 6 months ago at the cinemas. Yeah. Like they just don't know. People don't track it.
Because it's not so cable. Like TV and cable, people used to watch network TV, right? Like people don't do that anymore. I can't tell you that the last time I watched a commercial was probably the Super Bowl. That's probably the only time that I watch commercials. Why? Because I pay everything ad free. I hate commercials. I don't want to see it. The only reason I know about movies is because I keep up with movies. My wife, on the other, me and my wife live in the same house. Hey, what movie you going to see? Because I go by, because my wife doesn't like the movies that I like, and she's not a movie going person like me. Like she didn't want to go see. She didn't. What did I go see? The drama. She didn't want to go see the drama. Like I don't want to see this.
Was that good?
But she did. It was great. She didn't even know what it was about because she doesn't watch previews. Like YouTube pushes previews to me because that's what I watch. I watch previews. I keep up with a lot of different movies. And in the Discord group, I get to see all of the things that are coming out. But if you're not in that, like if that's not your thing, you'll never know what's coming out. Like I work, I was 18 people on my team. And like I'll come in, man, did you watch this? No, I don't even know what that is. Like I have no idea like what happens unless the big movies, Toy Story, Avengers, like the big sequels, the movies, Super Mario Galaxy, because they have kids, right? So they know about the big stuff. They don't know about the little things because they don't watch network TV. Nobody sits at home at 8 o'clock to watch primetime TV anymore. They wait for it to come out on Hulu, or they wait for it to come out on a streaming service because then they could watch it at their leisure without commercials. Because I hate, don't show me a shake weight commercial or some paid advertising commercial. Like
it's interesting the attitudes around commercials because like sometimes I'll listen to podcast here, but I'll have a VPN on and I'll change my location to America, or I might see something like American ads, and your ads are really annoying. Like where like in Australia, our ads are not. So I don't mind seeing ads. They're usually like informative or like actually I am looking to buy that product. It's not like, hey, I'm such and such celebrity and I endorse this and something crazy. It's not over the top. It's just very different how marketing works from country to country because I have no issue with ads. Like if you get the ad-free the version of like a streaming service here with ads, the ads will be like for, like fast food. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm glad. I wanted to know what the new burger is at McDonald's this month. Kind of. So I don't mind. So they're not so obnoxious. Like, so yeah, but it's just different from country. So I actually don't care about the ads, but I guess it's almost are the ads trying to be so annoying to you guys so that you do exactly what you do. You pay not to see them. You're like, please leave me alone. So like they try and make them so annoying that you pay not to see them. So they win either way. You either see the ads and buy the products, or you pay not to see the ads and don't buy the product.
Right. I don't know. I have a hatred of ads also because I am of older generation where we had network television and we didn't have a choice. And if you had like a TV, a TiVo or DVR, then maybe you kind of got away with it, but you still had to like fast forward through it.
Yeah.
And just it was 20 minutes of actual content that was supposed to be an hour, and everything else was commercial. So it's just when they were finally like, we have this whole movie for you right here, and there's nothing stopping you from consuming this 1 hour of content, people went crazy. You know what I mean? Like right now, people watch, entire series that used to take months, like 23 season shows. They watch it in like a week because there are no commercials. That's all, and they'll rewatch, Friends, The Office, all the classics just over and over and over again. And more power to them. because I also hate commercials.
Isn't
So-
it funny watching those type of shows and you can see where the ad break?
Oh
would have
yeah.
been?
Oh, where the ad
Yeah,
break
so
would
it's
be.
like
Yeah, I
weird
love
watching
it.
those
I
ads,
love
those
it.
without
I
ads, and you go, "Oh, that was designed
love
for an ad break."
I love it. But it
That's why
confuses
why I
the
find
crap out of my kids.
I find it hard to watch a lot of American sports because I feel like it's designed to have an ad break, like the amount of timeouts in basketball, or all the
NFL.
breaks in NFL. It's like this is designed for an ad. This isn't
Yeah.
designed to watch it. Where like a sport that we watch here, rugby league in Australia, the biggest selling point about it is when there's a streaming service you can pay to watch it on. No ads during play. That is the biggest selling point of it, and that's why people pay for it. So you don't see ads. The game doesn't stop for ads.
Damn,
but if you watch it on
sounds like a dream.
free-to-air TV, it does go to ads. So you kind of but the game doesn't stop for it. You kind of miss part of the game because it goes to an ad break.
Wow.
So like most people would pay because you don't want to miss the game, but the game doesn't stop for the ads. Where like I feel like a lot of American sports, the ads is the show. The sport is just the reason to get you to the ad.
Correct. We are watching Gatorade the sport. That's what we're watching.
Yeah.
We're not watching football. We're watching Gatorade the sport.
That's why athletes in America get paid hundreds of millions of dollars, opposed to like a really well paid athlete here would get $1 million. So like there's a difference. Ads is what I'm sure the players would rather the ads as they want to get paid.
The collective bargaining agreement. That's why they have those. That's why basketball, football, that's like $1 billion like multiple billions of dollars because of ad revenue, because they make Bud Light, the beer of choice, right? In which is just water, colored water with a little bit of alcohol. It's terrible, but it's the alcohol of choice because your favorite football team says so, but they
got to do what they say.
They make
even the athletes, the sneakers that they're wearing is an ad. The clothes that they're wearing are an ad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all very interesting. I wonder how far we're away from, and I've heard them talk about this before, cinemas having ads. Like
they do here. They do.
Not like during the movie, not before the movie. Like how far away are we from them having?
That would be the death of cinema.
You can pay for the ad-free version of Hail Mary, or you can go watch it and it goes for 4 hours because they stop the ads.
That will be the death of cinema.
I'll say, you're barely getting people to the theaters. If movies had commercials in the middle of them, that would be the end of it. I remember because I lived in Germany and they had intermissions. If a movie was longer than 2 hours, it was required to have an intermission. But they wouldn't play anything. It would just, the lights would come on. Hey, 15 minutes, go use the bathroom, come back, finish the movie. And I remember the first time I watched the original Avatar there, and when them lights came on, it was in the middle. It wasn't in a break. It was like in the middle of a scene, and the lights came on. I thought something was wrong. I was ready to run out the building. And they're like, "Oh, like what the." And that's the thing that would drive people crazy. And I mean, you'll get used to it, but it will be jarring.
They theoretically could do it because sometimes when things start to struggle as a team, they go, how can we get new clients? And sometimes the thing is, we can't, let's just charge the ones we have more. So then if they already know that the people that go to the movies are the people that love the cinema, if they're like, they're going to come anyway, we may as well make them become the product by putting ads on the screen and getting paid by Gatorade to force an ad down your throat, because they're like, we're not going to get any more people anyway, so we may as well make money off the people that are already here.
That is a terrible, because that you would lose half, like you would lose half the people of the half that you're getting. Like you would lose so many people because of.
Well, the thing, they might lose half the people, but they might make twice as much off the ads, so they go, screw it. Like, so a comparison, like we're a golf course that I play golf. I'm part of a committee there, and we deal with membership. And the idea is it's like, why don't we just, we're going to lose half our members, but we're going to charge them double as much. And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And they're like seriously considering it. And sometimes it's better to just piss off people, but charge those that stick around, because at a point people are so loyal to a brand, they'll stay no matter what. And could movies play on that? They go, you are so loyal to watching the movies, you'll come no matter what. So let's just make money off them.
The issue with that is
those are two. Those that
the issue with that is those same people don't have golf at home. If they had golf at home, they would not be paying a premium for golfing.
If they had their own private golf course,
like even if it's not, even if it's not a private, because it's not the same. Let's say 1-to-1, right? I have a giant, one of those giant like screens where I could play that virtual golf that I'd rather play in the field. But instead, you're going to charge me more for that, so I'm just going to invest more into my virtual golf thing.
Well, I guess the comparison is you could go somewhere that was cheaper, but it'd be like sport, for instance. You could. If they think that not as many people are going to watch live sport, they're choosing to watch at home, well, then you just increase the cost of watching at home. So then you make more money off them, or you force them to go back to watching it in person. So you kind of win-win. I don't know. But yeah, I generally think that there's a chance that cinemas might at some point go, screw it. Like if no one's here, we may as well charge the people here more, or they become the product and we advertise them for.
Yeah, they're already doing it. Like the cost goes up with everything. The cost of everything's going up. The cost to go to the movies is going up.
Yeah,
that's just, to me, that's just a part of life.
So what if they went a different strategy where they started offering discounted movies, but you got ads? So then the people that are paying for the ads, they're going to go, hey, we used to get 100 people to this cinema. We're getting 300 people because tickets are $2. They're super cheap. And they'll go, oh, that's a lot of eyeballs. Yep, I'll pay for an ad there. Like I've always thought about that. You know how I know we kind of look at Netflix when they offer the ad-free version that we're paying not to see the ads, but maybe it's the reverse. You're not paying not to see the ads. I'm paying less to see the ads. Right. Like, it's like a flip side. Like maybe the price you're paying is actually the price that everyone should be paying, but I'm getting a discount because I'm choosing to be the product.
You're choosing
where
to
you
suffer.
think that you're choosing. You think you're paying to not be the product, but actually I'm getting a discount because I'm choosing to be the product. Because they're the price you're like. Yeah, I know. Because I guess it's all relative and kind of made up, but
it is relative.
More power to you. I just hate them.
I agree.
I don't want to see ads.
Actually, don't mind ads. It gives you a time to go to the bathroom or get a drink or do what you need to do.
You know what else gives me that? The pause button.
It does.
That's
very true. But the point of the ads is to make you want to get the next version of it. And I think it's quite silly to go, I prefer to have the cheaper version because I think it's silly to buy the upgraded version just so you don't see ads. So I guess I have an opposite take on that. I would prefer to have things cheaper because I don't mind watching the ad. It only lasts like 30 seconds. I know it's 30 seconds you could be watching your show, but
that's genius on their point. Netflix
it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, like Netflix and that they've won with you because and same with me, that they've convinced us that we're getting a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But then you on the other side feel that you're getting a bargain because you're like, good, I don't have to see those damn ads.
We know we're not getting a bargain. We know we're not getting a bargain.
Yeah, but they've marketed for both of us. Like you're happy with your decision and we're happy with our decision. So like it's kind of smart. It's almost one of the smartest marketing things I can think of where they can convince both people that you're getting the better end of the deal.
Yeah, I guess.
You go screw it because you go, oh, for $5 a month and I don't have to watch ads. That's nothing. I'll pay the extra $5. Where I'm going, $5 a month. I don't want to pay $5 extra.
Again, I just want to clarify. I also am going, damn, $5 extra a month not to watch ads, but I still think it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's not that it doesn't hurt; it hurts.
Yeah, so they've convinced you that it's a good deal, and that we've been convinced that our choice is a good deal. So it's so smart. It's so smart. Like and they make money either way. They make money off you because you chose not to see the ads, and they make money off us because I saw the ad for KFC and then I went and bought KFC. You know, like they win. And
KFC is paying them.
Yeah, and KFC is paying them.
Yeah,
so it's like everyone wins.
Unfortunately,
except for us.
soon we'll be in this streaming world because Netflix has ads, Prime Video has ads. Soon we'll be in this world where Disney will have ads, Apple will
No,
have.
Apple won't do it.
Oh, won't they?
Well, who are they going to advertise themselves? Like they're not going to. Like, why would Apple advertise
I'm
any other
surprised you
company?
said Disney doesn't have ads. Disney,
Disney has ads.
at least for us, has ads.
Yeah, here they have ads.
The only one that doesn't have ads is Apple right now.
Yeah.
And still they have like the little ad for their own stuff.
Yeah.
You watch F1, you're like, oh my god, that F1 thing was everywhere when it came out.
But yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, it's again I think Jacob, you're probably going to touch on it. We've talked about this before with how many streaming services are and the streaming war. That again, that's another example of a business putting themselves out of business. So when Netflix was supposedly the only one, or they were the innovators, they sounded like a good deal. But then you start to add on 10 other options. Do you start to go, I don't want any of them? You know, one streaming service, great. I could add a second, I could add a third. But then once you hit, there's a point where you get to streaming service number 5 and you go, maybe I don't need streaming service number 4 anymore. And I could probably do without number 3. And now we're thinking about, I probably could do without number 2. I'll just stick with 1. Like they almost, so many choices, they end up putting each other out of business.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're trying to do the bundle thing where they kind of just are becoming cable again, basically.
Yeah.
But ultimately, for me, the biggest issue that I see is nobody's doing the numbers like Netflix, even though all these other like for me, Apple has some of the best content ever.
It does.
Just ever. But nobody watches it. So ultimately, like HBO or Peacock or Paramount, they just put their stuff on Netflix. Like they just sell their stuff to Netflix, and Netflix, they'll take a show that nobody like. What's a show I really like? There's a show called Saint Dennis. It's a medical comedy, and I watch it right after The Pit because I need the comic relief from the realism that is The Pit. So I watch Saint Dennis on Peacock. They just put it on Netflix, and people are just finding out about it, and it's now blowing up. Whereas I think it's like on its 2nd or 3rd season, and I'm like, I've been enjoying this show for a long time. But now they just got renewed on Peacock because it's doing so well on Netflix. And so I'm just like, because Netflix is the barometer still for how well a show can do.
It's kind of how we feel about it. We think that Apple make the best content, but if we had to pick one, we would both still choose Netflix. It's got. I don't think it's the best, but it's just if you had to pick one, it's the safe bet. It has the most. But I do not think it's the best. It's just the safest bet, and maybe that's helped them when some of those other streaming services were coming about, whether it was like Hulu, Disney, they stole some of Netflix business, and maybe and I think like there was a point where Netflix was going under, but I think eventually people came back because with too many options, you go, well, which is the best one? And then the cream rises to the top, I guess. So they eventually, it's like those other businesses put themselves out of business. Like if you open a burgers joint on one street and it's doing really well, so then someone goes, oh, burgers are popular, I'll open one next door. Bit of friendly competition. People have a preference. You open a third one and people go, oh, I'm over burgers. I'm going to go to Taco Bell down the road now. Like, do you end up just you end up taking each other's customers so much that there's none left, or they end up just going back to the original burger shop that was the best. And so I think that it's very interesting that streaming does that. They actually directly compete and put each other out of business, and in the end one will probably be left because there's too many options, or just be some massive one that has everything.
And I believe that will be Netflix.
And everybody will complain about it.
1000%. 1000%.
Okay, being mindful it is quite late where you guys are. Is there anything else you want to ask Jacob before we wrap it up?
I guess with The Pit being the best movie at the
Pit.
Sorry, not The Pit, Project Hail
Sorry,
Mary.
that's my bad.
That's okay. Do you see any movie that can surpass it, or is Project Hail Mary the best movie so far?
I think Project Hail Mary is the best movie so far, but there are some giant heavy hitters that are gonna surpass it. Even let's just deal with sequels. So I'm thinking definitely Dune 3 and just
Spider-Man?
the recent Spider-Man. Like I'm more hyped for that movie after seeing this latest trailer, than I am for even the Doomsday movie. I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's how I feel right now. But obviously, I'm a Spider-Man fan. So
I think Hail Mary will be the best new. Like I know it's not. I'll say original, even though it came from a book, but it will get surpassed by prequels and sequels and that are coming out this year. Just because, like it just kind of does. And it's like people are obsessed with Spider-Man. They're obsessed with anything to do with the Avengers, and Dune's been very successful. So it's just through sheer numbers that I think they're probably gonna blow it out the water. But I think it's by far the best original.
Oh, as far as like box office, yeah. Like I feel like Doomsday is gonna make a boatload of money. Dune's gonna make a boatload of money. Super Mario's already making a boatload of money. But as far as like my personal favorite movie of the year, it's gonna be hard to knock. It's gonna be hard to knock that out of my personal favorite. Like Spider-Man, love Spider-Man. The Michael Jackson movie's coming out in a few weeks.
oh yeah.
There's like a few other movies. The movie I just like, so real, like personally, like it's a well-directed movie, well-acted movie. It is a great movie. It just hits different tones. Like I feel like Doomsday is gonna hit different beats, and it's not gonna make me feel the way Project Hail Mary made me feel. And that's why it was my number one anticipated movie. Because I feel like you're gonna leave Doomsday and you're gonna be feeling down because it's gonna end like Infinity War, where it's gonna have a moment where the bad guy's gonna, have his way at the end. You're like, damn, oh man, the like you don't have that full hero's arc. Same thing with Dune 3. I think Dune 3 is gonna be a little more depressing. Michael's definitely gonna be more depressing. It's gonna have his highs, gonna have his lows. Like to me, Project Hail Mary just made me feel good when I left the theater. So that to me is more worth more than just what it does to the box office. Yeah, personally, I don't care how much money it makes because I'm not making none of it. So I really don't care. But it there are a few movies that might do it, and maybe when I watch the drama a second time, that could possibly take it out. But right now, nah.
I think as far as
think
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think for me, story-wise, I think if a movie can bring in someone that doesn't even like sci-fi, doesn't even like the genre, and then go, that was an amazing movie, I think for me, that's what the best movie of the year is supposed to do. And I think all the other movies that we have said will be good, but I don't think it will hit the same. I don't think it will have the same emotions that we are expecting. Like I wasn't expecting what happened to Rocky Word to happen. I wasn't expecting the start with the other passengers to happen. I think for me, the story of Project Hail Mary is a groundbreaking story, and I'm actually thinking the opposite. I'm actually not looking forward to Spider-Man brand new day because I actually don't like the direction that's going in. I'm actually not looking forward to Dune as much because I didn't like the others. So I will still watch those movies, but personally, I think Project Hail Mary because it's an original story. It's like Inception. So for me, I think it will be the best movie of the year. So I think it'll beat the sequels, and I think it's a good sign of something original. What bringing this video full circle for a movie that is original, that can hit well, can beat other sequels. It's doing its job.
For sure.
I agree with you. as far as what T said about box office, I agree. Like box office doesn't really matter to me as far as like my enjoyment of a movie. I thought the question was more like, will like another movie more or less beat it as far as that? And I think so. As far as original movie, like based off of a book specifically, if we're talking about The Odyssey, I think is also this year.
Yes,
and
it is.
I don't know, I love Christopher Nolan. You mentioned Inception. I love Christopher Nolan, and he's made me like things that I didn't think I would like. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this epic that he's creating, but I feel like that to me might beat this movie, Project Hail Mary, possibly, if it's as grandiose as I am picturing it in my head.
Hoping it will be.
Right, but as far as like a director and a story that I think from a book that I know and more or less can gauge compared to Project Hail Mary. On top of that, original movies, Is God Is another one that I'm looking forward to. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but that one also it was originally a play and they made it into a movie. I saw the play and I really enjoyed the play, so I'm excited to see what they can do with the film. But I don't know. Like last year, a lot of like Sinners and other things surprised me. So I am looking forward to, what was the other one? One Battle After Another, and all the big ones from last year. Damn, why am I forgetting all of them now? But all the big ones from last year, a lot of them were original movies. So I feel like this year, specifically later down the year, there will be something that might beat my hype for Project Hail Mary, even though the hype right now is top level. Like I said, 5 out of 5, best film I've seen this year, and I think for a while. But I believe there will be an original movie that will beat it this year.
And that's fine.
Yeah, because it's a hard year. It's a hard year.
For sure.
Cool. Okay. I think we've talked about Project Hail Mary, advertisement, sport. We've covered a lot of topics today.
Indeed.
Bearing in mind the time where you are, the fact that my laptop is about to run out of battery, I think it might be time to call it a day.
Well, thank you for audience and for people that get this later on. Hope you all enjoyed the discussion. And as always, let the force be with you and see you in the next video. Stay safe.
Later, guys. Thanks for